Welcome back to Death Before Booze, our true crime paranormal podcast over here. I'm Sam.
Yeah. I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Sam.
And we are here to talk about a topic that we literally just said a second ago, and now I forget what the topic is. Good thing
The
we have
topic.
Jen to tell us what's up.
The topic is, and the award goes to, which
Oh my
can
God,
be
that's
very
right.
unhinged.
That can be very unhinged, and it's super awesome
It's
because,
gonna
like,
be.
weren't there just like some awards, or they just announced awards? Was it the Oscars? I know Wicked is like all over the place right now.
I think the Oscars were a few weeks ago, but I do remember an award show being like somewhat recent. I don't watch them because I don't have an interest, but
The
I
only
don't blame
award
anybody who
show
does.
I give a shit about are the Tonys, and that's in
The
June.
Tonys. My
So
my friends in high school used to watch just the Tonys, and I was like, oh, okay. I
that's
just
really
still it was
all you need in life are the Tonys. That's it.
so.
All right, here we go. Let me get into my notes. So I'm trying this different, guys, because my printer is out of ink. So we're going to try and do it on my computer and talk at the same time, which is not going to end well, but we're going to try.
We'll try.
So for me, the award for the most haunted lighthouse in the world goes to... I don't know how to do that thing with your tongue. The St. Augustine Lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida. So, okay, here we go. The history. A little bit of history. So, St. Augustine was originally inhabited by a Timucuan.
Sounds good.
I'm so sorry, Spanish people. I'm terrible at this. Village named Saloy. And in 1513, Juan Ponce de Leon showed up and claimed La Florida for Spain.
Oh.
Right. This is a very, very deep dive I'm going into. Not even a little bit. This is like so surface level. There's like pages and pages and pages of like fighting and wars and shit. And I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
So we went from 1513 to 1565, where the French started to come in, and they're like, dude, we like this La Florida for us. And the Spain. No, get the fuck out. We were here first. This is our shit. So the Spanish built a bunch of lookout towers and like watchtowers on the coastlines. And one of these towers, the one that was in St. Augustine, burnt down in 1586. It was made of wood. They burned. That happens. So then they built another one, and then in 1683, that one burned down. So they replaced it with a Coquina tower. So now Coquina, if I'm saying that right, I hope I'm saying Coquina, whatever. It's not that really good drink at Christmas. It's... What is that called? Conquito? Conquito. That shit's good. I could really use some right now. Anyway. So Conquina is a soft limestone of broken shells, and it's used in road making and building shit in the Caribbean and Florida.
That makes sense.
All right. So that kind of white limestone, sandstone type looking shit. So now in St. Augustine, this was the site of the first lighthouse that was established by Florida by the new American government in 1824. So where this watchtower was, they're like, all right, this is shit. Cool. It served its purpose. We're done. We're going to build a lighthouse now. And construction started in 1824, and it is currently the oldest brick structure in St. Augustine.
Oh, wow. It's still standing.
Oh, yeah, no, it's chilling. I think they did like lots of renovations and restoration, so it's probably not the same, but it's the same. At the beginning of the Civil War, some of these are just like cool facts that I thought, because like I said, I'm not doing a deep dive. At the beginning of the Civil War, the lens was removed from the lighthouse, and they hid it in order to block the Union from being able to like see where the shipping lanes were and like know where the coast was. But then the people who hid it kind of got caught, and they were tortured into telling them where they hid the lens. So they could put it back up so the Union could be like, fuck off. And it worked. So they got that back up and running. Between 1870 and 1874, a new tower was built to replace the eroding tower from 1824. See, there it is. And fun fact, in the tower now, there are 219 steps to like get all the way up to the top. And when you go on the tour, they give you a break every 50 steps.
That's really nice of them.
I thought so. I mean, could you imagine how much your ass would burn walking up
It's not a
219
landing.
stairs?
So,
I feel bad for the tour guides.
yeah. Yeah, well,
I
because
hope they
you have
have
to
like
keep,
hors
you're right, you
d'oeuvres.
keep going. But you know what? It's nice because it's not like you have like first floor and then there's a, there's a landing or whatever. So it's really nice. Like, hey, we're stopping at the 50th stair. Catch your breath. Have a drink.
Have a minute.
Have some water.
Yeah. Maybe there's a
Because
bar,
that is a
some hors
lot. That's a
d'oeuvres, a
lot.
nice sing along. Throw in some
Even
Wicked.
just
It would be great.
even just walking up the stairs, like even if you're not trying to like get up there quickly, that is a lot. So,
Dude, my ass burns just thinking about it. Anyway. So they added a trolley line to help the keepers in getting their supplies and essentials from like the docks. And when I say trolley, I don't mean like a choo choo or like we're all aboard, like not that kind of trolley. Like picture like Indiana Jones mining cart slash like the
oh,
Seven Dwarfs, like where they have the little cart and they
yeah.
put all the
Hi
jewels in.
ho.
Hi ho, hi ho. Yeah, it's more like that. So it's not like a full fledged where like taking a ride on a Sunday. It's more this is literally just
This,
to get things back and forth.
that makes
And
sense. Yeah.
yeah, and then the lightkeeper's house was added to the site in 1876, and this is where the lightkeepers, their assistants, and families lived and worked. They always had a house on the property, but now it's like attached to the actual tower. Okay. The superintendent of lighthouse construction, his name was Hezekiah Pittee, Pittee, and his family moved from Cape Elizabeth, Maine, to oversee the construction of the new tower. And
Wow.
he had his kids there. And although there's tons of construction and it's super dangerous, the kids are running around and they're like, oh my gosh, look at our new playgrounds. So fun.
No.
And then they
No.
also invited the kids of like the workers, the construction people to come. And unfortunately, a lot of them were black and they probably weren't paid well. But so there's
Of
lots of
course.
kids running around this very dangerous construction site. And then there's that little trolley that we talked about where they
Nope.
would
I
move
don't like where this is
supplies for back
going.
and forth. But what was super cool
Mm-mm.
about this cute little trolley is at the end of the line, like down by the docks, they had like a piece of wood that would stop the trolley from like going into the water.
Oh, it goes all the way down to the
It goes all the way down to the
Okay.
water. Okay. So then
Okay.
on the kids loved this thing. They kind of used it as like a Victorian era roller coaster. Like
Well,
they'd all
yeah.
pile in and go down to the water and then pull it back up themselves and then do it again. And they tired themselves out and they'd get a thrill, and it was so great. So on July 10th in 1873, three of the Pittee sisters and one of their friends, which is one of the little kids from one of the workers running around, decided we're going to ride in this car. Like it's an everyday thing. This is not like something new. This is not like, oh, let's try it. No. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to the kids, somebody removed the wooden board that stopped the cart at the end of the tracks.
Why would you do that? Isn't that necessary?
The only thing I can think of is possibly when they were filling it with something, like they needed to move the wood to get better access, like if it was something larger. But there's really nothing documented
Okay.
as to why the wood was
Why
removed.
it wasn't there.
So the girls are in the cart. They're having the time of their life, hands up,
Oh.
screaming, "Woo!" Like woo girls all the way. When the cart gets to the end, it flips into the water and traps the girls underneath. So one of
Oh
the
no.
people who was working on the site saw this immediately and raced to the water. But by the time he got there, the suction was hard to get off of the kids.
Yeah.
So he finally
Oh
got
my
the
god.
cart off of them, but three of the four girls had drowned. The youngest girl, Carrie, she survived. So the three sisters were Mary, 15, Eliza, 13, Carrie, 4, and one of their little friends who we don't really know. But the youngest one, Carrie, survived. Very sad. Very, very
That's a
sad.
lot of people to put in the cart. I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that.
Well, I
Just
mean,
like
they
there's four
fit
people in that cart. I
Two
guess
people
so.
and
I
a
just
kid
was
in the
thinking.
Indiana Jones one, so I'm really thinking you could fit at least 4 or 5
Yeah,
kids in
you're
one of
right.
those.
You're
Yeah.
right. No, it's if I'm thinking of Indiana Jones one, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
big.
even the Indiana Jones one, they had like 3 or 4 big bad guys in there, so they could fit
That's
four
true. No,
kids.
you're
Yeah.
right.
That's what I'm picturing. I could be totally wrong. Somebody tell me. You can tell me I'm wrong. I'm usually am.
You could tell me.
The next thing is on August 31st in 1886, the Charleston earthquake caused the tower to, quote, sway violently, according to the keeper's log, but there was no recorded damage. So that was good. In 1907, indoor plumbing reached the light station, followed by electricity in
Nice.
the keeper's quarters in 1925. And then the light itself was electrified in 1936, and it was finally automated in 1955.
Awesome. That
Yeah.
this is all good stuff,
Yeah,
right?
there's really not much history, so I'm not padding this at all. Today, today the St. Augustine Lighthouse station consists of the 165-foot 1874 tower, the 1876 keeper's house. They have 2 summer kitchens that were added in 1886, a 1941 U.S. Coast Guard barracks, and then finally the 1936 garage that was home to a Jeep repair facility during World War II.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the site is also a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration weather station.
Oh, fun facts.
Yep. And finally, in 1994, the Lighthouse Museum of St. Augustine opened full time to the public. The museum also offers multiple ghost tours, including investigation options, available all weekend. And then, as spooky season comes around, they add on more times. And then this site has been featured on Ghost Hunters, BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, USA Today's
Yes.
10 Best Haunted Destinations, and the WWE. Which isn't that like your wrestling thing? Fuck, I could have used this
Yes.
for that. Why didn't I do that?
Oh my god.
Now we're going to get into all the spooky stuff. And I tried really hard to keep it all together, but I did write these notes at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was a little
Yes.
delirious.
Yes, she
But we're
did.
going to get
She
through it.
texted me to be like, "Hey, just finished my notes," and I was
I
like,
finished my notes. We can record. Let's go. I am nothing but efficient. Okay. Here we go. The lighthouse is known as the Mona Lisa of haunted sites because of its mysterious and haunting qualities. Many visitors have reported experiencing strange occurrences while touring the lighthouse, such as sudden drops in temperature, unexpected noises, and even apparitions and shadow figures.
"Ooh,
Staff members say that, they'll lock the door at the top of the tower each night before they leave, and by morning, the door is wide open. The lighthouse staff also reports chairs that have been moved or overturned. And then there are also things in the gift shop that go missing. So they'll come in, open the gift shop, and a whole thing of t-shirts is missing. And then by the end of the day, magically it's kind of back in place.
they're back."
Yeah, it's
That's
cool. One tour guide said that after hours, they were closing up and they actually saw the furniture moving on its own. It's been witnessed.
Oh.
Now, there are music boxes on the property that turn themselves on. And there's one tour guide who said the creepiest part about these things turning on is that you can hear something or someone winding them up before they start playing. And I have to tell you, when I read that, I was like, yeah, that is fucking creepy. No.
Oh, because, yep.
I'm totally good. Thank you. Some tour guides claim that the keeper's house is usually 10 degrees colder than the rest of the property. People have seen mist form in front of them, that misty and ghostly hands have appeared in front of them, or full-bodied apparition of a man shows up in front of them and then disappears by the time they blink.
Interesting.
I call that creepy, but
yeah.
I
guess I was just expecting girls, the little girls, because I was expecting them. But then you're like, "There's a man." All right.
Hold my beer. One tour guide said that ghosts have been known to pull their arm hairs out while in the basement.
No.
Why?
Leave me alone.
I I'm not
Leave me
bothering
alone.
you. I'm just walking through the basement. Like, okay, I'm giving a tour, but you don't have to like pull the hair out on my
Oh,
arms. That's nasty. I don't like it.
yeah. It's also hard to do. Like, what the?
The same tour guide said that they had their ankle grabbed while giving a tour in the basement, so it looked like he tripped while he was in front of everybody. He was very embarrassed.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't trip on anything. And then they're like, sure you didn't. So
Yeah,
there's that.
sure. Yeah, Ghost definitely
Hmm.
grabbed your
Walk
ankle.
much.
There was a maintenance worker who had to go in at night to fix an electrical issue with the lights themselves. Not like the like spinny light at the top, but just like the lights in the
Right.
tower. And he said he entered the property and immediately heard footsteps like somebody was following him. Then while he was working on whatever he was working on, there was somebody pacing not too far from him. Like he felt like somebody was like waiting for him to be done, like huffing and puffing as he was pacing.
That's hilarious.
I hate
I'm
it.
like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And then when he was done, he turned around and like walked out, and the footsteps followed him until he left.
Wow. It's like someone coming to do work in your house and that person's like following you around and you're like, oh.
Like, dude, I know how to do my job. I don't need you to watch me. Thank you.
Oh
I
my
don't respond
God,
well to
that's crazy.
micromanagement, but cool beans.
That's crazy.
People hear disembodied voices conversing in different rooms, and then they go there and there's no one there. Psychics contact staffers frequently, and recently one told the staff that there was an African American girl on the property named Ellie or Eleanor, and that could possibly be the friend
The
who
other
was
girl,
with the
yeah.
little girls. There are rumors of a tall military type man walking around at night. They call him the Man in Blue. It's also thought that this could be a previous innkeeper named Joseph Andrew. Over a century ago, he was there and he fell from like the top of the light tower while he was painting something. Like he was doing maintenance and painting something, and he fell over and fell the whole way down and died.
That's a rough one.
I don't like that one. He's often reported to be walking along the top of the tower or inside the keeper's quarters. He has also been seen in the basement walking around the room like he's on duty. And he also makes his presence known occasionally by opening and closing doors or moving objects around.
So maybe this is the guy who's like, hey, get out of here. Do your
It
job
could
and
be
get
him.
the heck out.
He could also be the one who flips the furniture or moves shit up in the guest shop. Like you think about it.
You know.
Very
Yeah.
poltergeisty. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan. There was a relief lighthouse keeper living in the home in the 50s who reported hearing footsteps upstairs when he went to investigate it. There was no one up there. The head keeper at the time, though, his name was James Pippin. Pippin initially lived in the keeper's house, and you know, that's what all the keepers did. Like, you stay in the house because that's where you work. This guy was like, oh, cute. No, I'm going to go live over here and I'll just come back when it's time for me to work, because he kept seeing the men in blue and he would swear that the quote big house was haunted and he would not stay there another night.
Fair.
I get it. I get it.
That's fair.
I don't love it. I'd be the same way. I like this shit, and I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go over here.
I'm good. I don't need to
You
I don't need
chill
to stay another
here.
night.
Enjoy your house. I'm going to go over here. Many report smelling a distinct smell of a burning cigar while they're at the lighthouse, although the property has been made smoke-free for like decades now. One of the previous keepers, whose name was Peter Rasmussen, nailed it, had an affinity for cigars, and it's believed he still hangs around in the shadows lighting up a new one each night.
That's not good for you.
No, it's not good. Not good at all.
That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, don't do that, because now you're stuck doing that forever. And what if like you don't want that
Yeah.
cigar anymore? Like your jaw could fall off. Don't do it, guys.
And then yeah.
Ugh.
Then it gets expensive and it's
I mean, unless they're Cuban cigars. I hear those are very good.
yeah, but I mean every night though. You know?
I mean,
I
everybody
don't
has a
know.
ritual. What if you just have like a glass of red wine every night? One cigar every night?
I guess. You know what? Yeah, okay. Who am I to judge him? He can do whatever he
I mean,
wants.
I'm never going to do that, but I mean, teach his own.
Right. Exactly.
A couple other deaths that happened on the property. There was another keeper who hanged himself. There was a keeper who died of TB. There was a keeper's wife who died on the property, but this was a bit suspicious, but I don't remember why. I put it suspicious.
I
There's
pushed her out the window.
I mean, oops. And
Yeah.
oops. There's
Yeah.
a bit of a superstition that was held that if you became the head keeper at this particular lighthouse, either you or someone close to you would die or be like super fucking injured. Something was going to go wrong.
No, I don't like the curse thing. I
No.
mean, no.
Okay. And now we are at the main ghosts. So,
Yeah.
two.
Who did Zach Baggins piss off?
Zach
Who did he
Baggins has
try to
not
go-
been here. I don't think he's been here.
They haven't?
No, it wasn't listed. I mean, I don't remember him ever going here. I only remember him
my
being at
God.
like 2 lighthouses, maybe 3. Big Sur, that Executioner's Rock, and then
Yes,
that
I
other
remember
one
that.
up in Washington State that I did.
Yes.
This Cape Disappointment.
Okay.
I could be
got it right.
wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll do it on Patreon and throw on like my notes for his horrible episode. But it's cool. So the most well-known ghosts are those of 2 of the 4 deceased little girl or 3 deceased little girls.
Mhm.
So witnesses have reported seeing Victorian era little girls playing and spooking guests. Giggles can be heard on the stairs, only to find that no one's there. One woman in a tour wanted to comment on how well behaved another woman's daughter was. And when she did that, the other woman was like, dude, I don't have any kids.
I
And
don't
then the
have
tour
kids.
guide was like, yeah, by the way, there are no children on the tour tonight.
Oh. Did she not see that? Like when they took off for the tour? Did you? I mean, I don't
know.
look at people like when I go on a tour, but like you would notice if there's kids there, right? Like
I think you would notice because usually when I go on a
Yeah.
ghost tour, I'm always like, ooh, this kid's gonna be freaked the fuck out, and I love it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
can I fuck with
Yes.
them? Because I'm that asshole. But now I have a kid, so I'm gonna be like, don't fuck with my kid. But then again, me and Ken will probably be the ones fucking with her, so it's fine. If it's my
fine.
kid, I'm allowed to.
Exactly.
In 1955, the lighthouse lamp was fully automated, and the United States Coast Guard replaced the lighthouse keepers with a position called the lamplighter. And this was like a local dude who had all the duties of being a light keeper, but he didn't have to live on the site anymore because it pretty much automated itself. He just had to go and check and make sure everything was working.
Make sure it's working.
Yeah, so what happened then is they took the keeper's house and they rented it out to somebody. Like, we might as well make some money on this. So there was this local guy. He was known for like making leather goods, and he rented the property in the 60s. And he tells this story of one night he woke up with a small girl in old-fashioned clothes, said he was about 13 to 15, standing at the end of his bed.
No.
And she was soaking wet.
Oh, no. Nope.
Ew. He blinked his eyes and she was gone.
No, thank you.
No, no,
I'd be out of there so freaking fast. Be like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm so good. One night in the lighthouse tower, there was a staff member who was closing up for the night, and he heard giggling at the top of the tower. And this would piss me off. I'm sorry, little girls, don't fucking do this to me. So he goes upstairs thinking that, somebody got left in the tower and they're like fucking around. So he turns the lights on, goes upstairs. It's empty. As he starts going back down, now the giggles are coming from below him. So now I had to go up 200 and something fucking stairs.
Right? Oh my god.
And now I have to come downstairs and you're giggling. So now I'm tired, my ass is burning, and now I'm scared because now I have to walk into fucking it coming out of the bottom of my employment. Like, no.
And he like ran up those stairs too because he was worried someone was up there. So he ran up all 200 flights of stairs. Oh
yeah,
my
he didn't get to stop
God.
every 50 stairs because he was gonna get in trouble for leaving somebody in the fucking tower. Then he gets down to the bottom and there's nobody there. Still nobody there. I would be pissed. I would be like,
I'd be
no, I'm
really
not
pissed.
closing. This is not fair. These are extra duties I did not sign up for.
Agreed.
Another female ghost was on the Dark of the Moon tour. So that's the guest, not ghost, female guest. They were on the Dark of the Moon tour, which is that ghost tour that they do there. She was standing on the first step of the metal lighthouse staircase, like to go up. And they were standing there, they were doing part of the tour, and she went to go to the next step, and her shoelaces were tied around the step, so she couldn't move.
What bitches? I don't like that.
I wouldn't call them bitches. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, but like, what if she fell? What if she
annoying.
falls and
It's the
then
first step? Like, it's not like she was 20 stairs up. She was like one step up. Probably was standing there.
Still, you could hurt your ankle
on there.
You could hurt your knee. You could drive yourself right into there. That would be me. I would be the one bleeding all over the place, and I'd be like, like
that would be us.
No,
you're absolutely
right. Like, I'm telling you, that would be.
I'd
definitely
be
son of
one
a
of
bitch.
us. Oh my god! And then can you hear the little girl going, "Ooh, you said a bad word."
Yeah. And everybody else being like, it was just the first step, and we'd be like, yeah, we know that was just the first.
We know that's the worst part. Is I
that's why
stare. Okay, guys. Thanks. Okay. Another tour guide found a group of young women in the basement of the keeper's home, and one of the women had rented an EMF detector to play around with the electric currents and stuff. They wanted to see what was up. So the woman's holding this meter and asked the girls if they wanted to play hide and seek. The meter spiked and the woman's like, awesome, let's fucking go. So they're going around the basement searching for the girls. And finally they found them with the meter spiking again. But they were at the spiral staircase leading up to the main floor. So the woman said, oh my God, I found them. This is so cool. Do you want to play again? Like before, the meter spiked. And once again, the young woman searched the basement for the girls. And after 7 minutes, the electrical energy near a kid's play table down there, because it's a museum. So they got to keep kids and it spiked again. Cute. And they did this a couple of times. So it's really cool that there's a lot of documented stuff about this. This is a legit one.
So that's cute. I like that.
Yeah. The girls sometimes appear to people in fully formed apparitions. So during the day, a guest was exploring the hammock trails, and they came upon a young girl in a Victorian outfit sitting on a bench reading a book. And you know what? When I die, if I get to be a ghost, one, I'm haunting all of you, so you're welcome. Two, if I get to read books, I'm fucking in.
Oh, that'd be
Let's
great.
Go. Right? I feel bad for the ghosts who have to work for the rest of the man in blue. He's got to fucking work for the rest of his life. That's terrible. Yeah. I don't want to do that. But if I just get to go to the little library and pick out I wonder if there's a ghost library. I'm really off topic. But if I get to sit there and read books in St. Augustine, Florida as a fucking ghost, I'd be okay with that. I would take that afterlife. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, really off topic. So she started to ask the girl questions. She kind of thought she was part of the museum, maybe a period actor, but then why would you think a little kid, a 13-year-old, was part of the experience? Anyway, she starts asking the girl questions, and then a group comes up, and she kind of gets distracted, and when she turns back, the bench is empty, and there's no little girl there anymore. Yeah. Gone, just gone. In 1970, so the keeper's house kind of was empty after the dude from the 60s for a hot second, and magically the keeper's house burned down. They don't really know why. It just was poof, it's gone. So all that was left was the basement. So they were all right, we're going to demolish everything. We're just going to get rid of it. That's fair. Don't really need this here. And then these local women raised a shit ton of money, couple $1 million, and they're no, we're restoring this property. We need this. And I totally agree with them. During the renovation, though, construction workers and volunteers reported numerous unexplained incidents throughout the property and where they were renovating. A lot of people wouldn't come back. They were yeah, no, I'm good. You can keep my hammer. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Keep my tools.
You can keep that. I don't need it. I can go to Home Depot. The basement was a particularly active area for ghost encounters. Considering that part had only been partially burned, and people kind of think because everything was burned, and they're not really sure if the paranormal thing did it or if it was like an electrical issue or a
Right.
cool. But it hadn't completely burned, but they kind of feel like a lot of the spirits like went down there, so that's why it was so haunted when they were doing the restorations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they were just like, all right,
I
well,
mean,
until you fix this, we're all just gonna be refugees here in the basement.
but
Cool.
also the basement is always a creepy, scary thing. So that's always where you assume
Well, according
ghost
to
things
a
are.
paranormal chicks, the only good thing that the basement is for is laundry and demons. So I kind of can get on
Yeah.
board with that one.
Hmm.
I do have a bunch of pictures of shadow people that have been caught
Oh,
at this lighthouse. So go to our website, deathbeforebooze.com, and check
that's
out our blog for this
cool.
episode. You'll see all that. You'll also see all of my sources for this. Or you can just Google like St. Augustine Lighthouse, haunted, ghosts, whatever version of that, and you'll see a shit ton of things.
I kind of want to
So
see it.
definitely fucking haunted. And we should go there as soon as possible. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah. I honestly I didn't really know a lot about a history about it, but I did see BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, and that's where I remember this being. And I think that they didn't catch anything because usually on Supernatural they don't catch anything and they just kind of wander around, but it is very like you can see very all the history and it's very period piece stuff. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
like,
a
"Oh,
lot of
okay.
the history was like the French and the Spanish like fighting with each other over St. Augustine. And I
Yeah.
was like, Wikipedia, thank you, but I don't really care
I
enough.
don't need
I'm
everything.
so
I don't
sorry.
need all the history."
This is a lot. I literally picked
That's
what I
fair.
wanted to talk about today. And then I got to the ghosts, and that
Which
was
is
what I did.
fine. Which
This is
is
why it's our
totally
podcast.
fine.
I can
I
do whatever
totally
I
get it.
fucking want.
Yeah. But also
Yeah.
sometimes people don't really the history is too much. Like it's too extensive that you're like,
Yeah, why are you telling me this?
eh.
Yeah,
Right.
it didn't have any bearing on what
Um
we were talking about today, so we just omitted it. Sorry.
yeah,
Go to
which makes
Wikipedia.
sense.
They'll tell you all about it, though, if you want to know more about
I
that
know.
side of it.
And they'll probably ask you for money because they do that every so often too.
Yeah, it's lots of men with 6+ names. Have a great time.
That's- All right. Well, I'm going to. This one is for the award goes to the worst teacher in the entire world.
Really? We found them?
I went here. I went here.
Are
Maybe
you
not the
okay?
worst anymore. Because I thought I had that award.
Girl.
But
Girl.
but
Girl.
I honestly I don't think that like if you go off of like time frame wise, this probably is there's probably been people who have done far worse, but she's not we'll give her the award for right now. So
Cool, cool,
this is
cool.
we're gonna talk a little bit about Pamela Smart, if you guys know who Pamela Smart is. If not, I'm gonna give you a brief history because she's a piece of shit, so I don't really go into a lot of detail about her because there it is.
Ready. I have
So,
no idea who this was. Did they make a Lifetime movie about her? I feel like they made a Lifetime
they
movie about her.
did.
Oh, they
They
were
they
good.
made a Lifetime movie. I do believe I have in here that they made like episodes of. There's a novel. There's a movie with Nicole Kidman. We're gonna get to that.
Ah, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait,
Okay.
I gotta sit better.
So
Now I'm ready.
so Pamela Smart was born in Coral Gables, Florida, in August of 1967.
We're both in Florida. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, they
Tight.
eventually moved to New Hampshire when she was in 8th grade. So she was starting in Florida. They went to New Hampshire. She then went back to Florida, where she graduated from Florida State University
Cool.
with a degree in communications and media performance.
Ooh.
And at FSU, she actually hosted a radio program where she called herself the Maiden of Metal, where she played a lot of heavy metal music, which is very cool. I love that.
I'm in. But we don't like her.
I love it. No.
Okay. That's fine.
So she's very young at this point when she met Gregory Smart, so her soon-to-be husband. She was home for winter break in 1986. They started dating, and then they got married 2 years later.
Excellent.
So, very young. Again, she's like fresh out, like she's almost out. Like they met before she graduated. Okay, so she's very, very like in her early 20s at this point. 7 months into their marriage, things weren't really going so great. It was not all good in paradise. So she ended up taking a job. Now they're in New Hampshire now, so that she went to Florida for school. She came back to New Hampshire.
Okay.
She took a job as a media coordinator at Winnicott, High School in New Hampshire.
Cool.
And she was 22. So, okay. This is where she meets a couple of students.
This is starting to sound familiar. Okay.
It's not good.
It's not good.
So she meets sophomore William or Billy Flynn and an intern, Cecilia Pierce at Project Self-Esteem. So I guess it's a drug awareness program. Both volunteered for it. It's an after-school type of thing, whatever. She's a media coordinator.
Is that like the early DARE program?
You know what? It kind of seems that way. And I think it's more like kid run than DARE. It's more like a, for the kids to, pull together. So,
okay.
So there's a lot of then what happens at this point is that her and Billy, now Billy is a sophomore. Okay. She's 22. So it's not.
He's like 15, 16. There's like 6, 7 years there. 5, 6,
yes,
7
but
years.
also she is his superior. So this is also a power thing. So lots of gross stuff happens in between. They end up having an affair, the two of them, and it's ongoing, and it's in a relationship. No. Billy lost his virginity to her.
Ew, no.
Yeah, it's gross. It's very gross.
Is she cute? Ew, I know it doesn't matter, but like I feel like
she was very pretty, so and I get it. It's a guy thing. Like I've had this discussion with Dave where I've been like, it's gross as a teacher for me to think of a student as, and he's like, well, when you're in high school and you have like a really pretty math teacher or a really pretty English teacher, you're like, oh my God, you fantasize about that. And I'm like, no, students can fantasize.
Yes.
As a teacher.
No.
Even when I was her age and I was interning, like I just couldn't look at high school students and be like, it was not okay. I just, because there's a power thing going on here. And I don't think she used it at first as a power thing, but later on, we'll see where this goes. So
what? No, wait, I'm so sorry. We cannot just move on. What 22-year-old has anything in common with a 15, 16-year-old?
15-year-old, right?
Boy.
What is
in high school? Like what?
And now perhaps like again, you're not getting attention from your husband and he thinks whatever. He's 15. It does not matter.
He probably smells.
It does not.
He's greasy.
You know what?
He's got a fucking gym sock.
Does.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
no, and at that age, at that age, again, if you have ever worked in a school, been at a school recently, the hallway has a smell.
They have
and that's
smell. I'm telling you.
But you're right. What 22-year-old has anything in common with a 15-year-old? I just like, other than you want the attention.
Drink. What the fuck do you get? What attention are you like? What is he doing for you? What's his job? He works at fucking McDonald's, like making like $5-6 an hour. What are they doing for you? They're not taking you out to dinner. They're taking you fucking dandelions off the side of the road while they're walking home from school. Like,
I know it's not, this is what makes me, because even though this story you're like, oh, this is gross. This happens still into like modern age, and every time I'm like, this is gross. No, this is disgusting.
I don't like it.
It's
not
gross.
Even a little bit. No.
So then we get to May 1st of 1990. Okay. Pamela had a meeting at work. So she gets home and she finds, oh shoot, my condo's broken into. So she rushes into the condo and she finds her husband, Greg, murdered on the floor.
Why would you go
Blood everywhere.
inside?
I That's a great question because
You,
I wouldn't have.
I would go next door and be like 911.
Call the
Help
cops.
me.
Right.
Help
You would be
me.
like, something's wrong. Because Greg seems to be home, but like maybe that's why she was like, "Oh, husband's home." Like maybe what happened? Well, Greg is in the when you walk in, blood everywhere because he's been shot in the head, so he's dead.
No.
Yeah,
I hate it.
yeah.
No.
So she's like, "Oh my gosh!" So then she goes to the neighbor's house. She calls the police, and she's like, oh, "I don't know. Something must have like someone's moved in or whatever. I don't know." Now the police like kind of walk in and they're like, this doesn't look like a burglary. It kind of looks like it was staged. So they're a little bit like, let's get some more information from you because you seem a little like you seem agitated. You seem like, oh my gosh, this whole thing is happening, but this doesn't look like a real burglary. So
Okay.
they kind of suspected something was going on, and it was kind of already suspected in school and in certain people that she was having some kind of thing with Billy.
So they weren't even good
So
at hiding it.
no, because like his friends kind of knew, and the intern that he was with at this program kind of was like, something's weird here. So the cops had a suspicion that she seduced Billy and had something to do with the murder of her husband. So they investigated
Okay.
and they found that Billy, yes, something went terribly wrong and he like grabbed a bunch of his friends Patrick Randall, Vance something or other, I didn't get his last name, and Raymond Fowler. So during the investigation, Vance's father found a 38 caliber pistol in his home. So he was like, what the fuck is my sophomore son doing with this gun that I've never seen before? I'm going to call the police. So he did.
I love this
This
guy. He's my new favorite hero. Him
Yeah.
and Deadpool.
He
They're right up there together.
Yeah. So he calls the police, and this actually again turns out to be, yep, the murder weapon. So all of these boys had a hand in something.
Okay.
Also, an anonymous tip came in and said, hey, remember that intern, Cecilia? Yeah, she's aware of something that's going on. So the police bring her in. And they're like, what do you know? Because we got this tip that you are aware of something.
I don't know nothing.
And she's
I
like,
don't rat.
okay, I don't know everything, but I know that there's a relationship going on between Billy and Pamela. So I will help you.
How did she know?
I think she kind of suspected because, again, 15-year-old boys don't really hide things very well, especially when it's like they're having sex,
That's
you know?
fair.
So especially if they're like telling their boys and stuff, which it's fair. You're 15, you're having sex. Like, I get it.
This is so Dawson's Creek where Pace
It really is.
teacher and he tells Dawson in the thing, and that guy was smoking weed in the stall, and then it gets all over town. That's what this is reminding me of.
It's kind of what it is. And I guess because Cecilia was interning and she was part of that program, she kind of sees the two of them being very flirtatious. And she's just like, this is not good. I don't like this. I don't like so
With 15-year-old.
she didn't know what was actually going on, I suppose. But she's like, okay, I'll wear a wire and I'll record conversations with Pamela. And, the cops are like, that'd be great. You're doing us a solid. Well, when she had conversations with Pamela, Pamela did incriminate herself because she just can't keep her mouth shut. So
She's 22.
Yep.
I found the
She's
love
also
of
an
my
idiot,
life.
so-
He's 7 years younger
Oh,
than me and in my third period
bleh.
class. It's amazing.
Oh.
I get to see
I
him
mean,
all
again,
day.
I guess technically she's not a teacher. She's a media coordinator, but still, media specialist, you're still in charge of students. So, like, it's still gross. Anyway, so August 1st, 1990. Now, Greg was murdered in May. So they had to compile a lot of evidence and get everything together. So Detective Daniel Pelletier went to the school's parking lot. that day, and he approached Pamela, and he goes, "Well, Pam, I've got some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is we've solved the murder of your husband.
Yay!
The bad news is you're under arrest for
God
first
damn it!
murder." That's awesome.
Oh my God.
I like how he approached it too. He's like, "Well, got some good news. I got some bad news for." So,
Well, I mean, it was only bad news
Now
for her.
it really was. So the trial, they allowed TVs in the courtroom. So this made this crazy. It gained a lot of media attention, a lot of people in general, because I feel like this was the first documented case of someone in a school doing this kind of behavior with a student. Like, I don't know. This is the one where everyone's like, "Oh, Pamela's smart," and then immediately you go with this one. So people have done it after, of course, but
This is the one where
so
they
anyway,
caught.
the prosecution, and here's the thing, the prosecution really had to rely on the testimony of the teenage kids, because the kids all were like, fine, like, because they're kids, okay? So like, this is what we did. They laid out the whole plan, which we're going to get to, and all that kind of stuff. But really, all of their trial was on that, because she didn't have the gun. She didn't have any, like, there's no actual, like, tangible physical evidence that ties her to it other than, so this is kind of what's going to build their case. So, all of the kids before the trial secured their plea bargains. So they were all like, all right, we're getting jail time, sure, but like, we're going to help you out because we're fucking scared. So,
Well, I would hope so.
March 1991, the arguments, like the oral arguments, began. Prosecution portrayed the teenagers as naive, Pamela as a cold-blooded mastermind who controlled her underage sex partner. Pamela talked to Billy and said, "Man, having a really hard time with my husband. He's being kind of an asshole, and I, not really in love with him anymore. So you know what you could do for me?
It would be really
kill
cool if somebody would take
really
a clock or whatever gun and just shoot him. It would be really
Wouldn't that
good
be
if
cool?
Would it be so nice
It'd be really
if
cool.
somebody
It'd be rad.
about the age of 15 would do me a solid and just show up at my condo and murder my husband for me so we could be together forever. I mean,
if
that
you love
the
me,
dream? If you love me,
right?
you would figure
If you
this
love
out.
me, you'll do this for
Don't you
me.
want an
and
A
that's kind of
in media class? I know how to do it.
That's kind of what they portrayed her as being, as this like,
wait. I can get you a free drink from the soda fountain if you go kill my husband.
I can get you into the faculty lounge so that you can see what's in there.
I'll make sure you never get busted for smoking cigarettes in the boys' room ever again if you just take care of my husband for me.
Which I literally feel like maybe the conversation didn't go exactly this way, but I feel like that's the pressure she put on. But the other thing that she kind of held over his head was the fact that Greg had a $140,000 life insurance policy. So she's like, he dies, I get that. We have some money. We can be together. We can go somewhere, because he doesn't have parents who are gonna, tell him he can't.
I
leave
told
the
you
state.
that McDonald's salary was not working for him. It's not working for anybody. Just saying. Maybe we should fix that. Maybe we should fix it.
I agree.
I'm getting off my soapbox.
So Billy testified Pamela had threatened to withhold sex and break up with him unless he killed him. He's like, "I'm not giving you any more. We're not going to be in a relationship. I have to break up with you if you don't kill my husband."
He's 15. Fuck anybody else in your sophomore class. You can't get a freshman, bro?
But when you had an older woman like that, though, you kind of feel, and you feel like she loves you because she told him she loved him.
I hate everything.
He loved her.
Oh my God.
He lost his virginity to her, Sam.
I hate everything.
There's a thing about...
I hate everything. Who's getting that extra pizza on Fridays?
And extra french fries. I mean, how do you go wrong with extra pizza and french fries?
$140K and extra pizza. I mean, that's all I want. I'm 36. That's all I want is $150,000 and a couple extra
Thank
slices of
you.
pizza.
I mean, that's all that's
Okay. You know what? I get it.
oh,
I get
it's the
it.
simple things, you know? It's the really simple things in life.
Absolutely it is.
So, Pamela did when of course cuz she went on the stand. She acknowledged that she had this affair, but she said, "Listen, it was all Billy and his friends because I broke up with him and said, I want to work on my marriage. I want to repair it. I don't want to do this anymore."
Wow,
So
aren't you
Billy was
just a fucking
pissed.
saint?
So Billy was mad. So him and his friends came over and they did all this stuff.
Not
Now,
Billy being mad. Oh no. She didn't like
so
David.
she admitted, she's like, I have no idea. I knew nothing about the murder plot. I didn't know anything about this. So, okay. However, we have Cecilia. Okay. Cecilia testifies that Pamela and Billy were just friends, but she noticed a change when Pamela confessed to her that she loved Billy. So once that happened, she saw a change in Pamela's attitude. The two of them were more flirtatious. So, and Cecilia was the one who had the incriminating tapes
So
where
wait,
Pamela said things.
is she so Cecilia's saying like she once okay, words. You're telling me that Cecilia finally noticed that they were flirting once Pam was like, "Yeah, I love him," or like Pam kind of
Yes.
was like because like some psychological thing where she was like, "All right, I've said it out loud to somebody else. It's just happening now." Like,
I feel like for Cecilia, who again, I don't know how old she was. I'm assuming she was older than Billy because she's an intern. So I don't know if she's interning like
just be like in a college
she's a
program, right? Like she's
right.
like
Like that's
student
kind of what I'm
teaching type thing.
assuming.
That's how I'm taking
Yeah,
it.
so maybe she felt comfortable, like that's where Pamela felt comfortable talking to her about some stuff. So when Pam kind of confessed to her like she actually is in love with Billy, that's when she kind of noticed a change in her personality. So it
Got
could
it.
have been like Pam all of a sudden was like, well, now I've admitted that I love him, so now I'm going to start being more flirty. I don't know, but either way, it's gross and I hate it.
It's okay. It's safe to do this in front of her.
Yeah, type of thing. And
Cool.
and
Hate
so
it.
but Cecilia didn't know anything about the murder plot, so she wasn't charged with anything because she helped them with the incriminating tapes too because, you know. So, the trial went on for 14 days
Wow.
and it ended March 22nd, 1991. Pam was found guilty of being an accomplice to first-degree murder,
Excellent.
conspiracy to commit murder, and witness tampering because she tried to force during this whole thing or Cecilia to lie to her, and that was caught on the tapes for her. Yeah. So she was like, "Oh, don't tell the cops that you knew about me and Billy. Like, we don't need to talk about that type of thing." So it witnessed tampering. So she tried to.
She was probably saying to Billy too, if you want to see them titties anymore, you better keep your fucking
I
mouth shut.
agree. I agree.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work out either for
The
her.
conviction was a result of the testimony that everybody else gave. So, like again, but also the fact that she was being taped, and they got the evidence from there. So Pamela did, during those tapes, contradict her statements of wanting to reconcile with her husband and having no idea about the boys' plot. So she had said many times, I don't want to be back with my husband. I want to be with Billy or whatever. And you know what? I think the boys are going to do some weird shit.
Cute.
So
Dumbass.
she was given life in prison without parole.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's shocking.
Isn't it? I was kind of shocked, but I think that they had enough on the tapes to be like, this was you, right? You fucking said you basically want your husband murdered. So, like,
Talk about live free or die. Fuck.
right. So, in 1993, she was transferred to New Hampshire State Prison for Women. Unclear why they transferred her. A senior assistant to the state attorney said the reason was disciplinary issues because she had accrued 22 disciplinary reports. She's being a bitch to everybody else, and like a couple times she She maintains she's innocent. She said she never had an affair, but has said if she never had the affair with Billy, her husband wouldn't be dead. So she regrets having the affair because, oh my gosh,
Okay.
if I didn't do that, Billy wouldn't have wanted to kill my husband.
Okay.
While she was in prison, she received 2 master's degrees and became a member of the National Organization for Women, which campaigns for the women's rights in prison. Okay, sounds really great.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we get to 1996, where she was beaten by 2 inmates. They claimed she snitched on them about their prison relationship. Pam walked away with a fractured nose and a broken eye socket,
Oh
which
God. Oh God. No. Oh fuck.
so now she has
Oh.
a plate on the left side of her face.
I mean, she totally deserves it, but fuck.
I mean, so she actually still keeps track of Billy too. That's wonderful, because she
No.
believes the key to her freedom is him. Because she has said, "quote He's one of the few people that could actually get me out of here, but by coming forward and telling the truth. But he's never going to do that."
He already told the truth, bitch. Stop.
Uh huh.
He told us.
So she became part of a writing group, which helped her recognize and accept responsibility for her husband's death. Once again, she's not saying she had anything to do with his murder, but she accepts that, oh, it was my fault because I had sex
affair.
with this 15. Yeah.
So, is she gonna be let out of prison early and have all this notoriety, and then get to go to LA to follow the prostitutes and then kill them with their bras because she had to write in fucking prison? Listen to
I
last
think
week's
that's all
episode.
on.
Listen.
I think that's all on our friend Jack
Okay.
about the bras.
Yeah.
Okay, like I think that's all him. There was an HBO documentary in 2014 where she explained the media was the one who influenced her trial and conviction.
Always.
So because it was so crazy. In 2022, she asked for an appeal, but the council rejected her request.
Cool.
This was the 3rd appeal that she made.
Oh.
Some believe that she has been rehabilitated.
No.
And I think at this point she's like in her 60s, so realistically she could like get out of jail and like have a little, but people are like, no, she's rehabilitated. She got her master's degree. She's part of a writing group. She does all this stuff, and it's like,
No.
yeah, but she.
I mean, but if you think about it, she's only going to go for people in their 50s. So at least
That's true. So
now it's a whole different, like, weird thing in my head that I don't want to think about.
yeah. Now, despite the plea bargains, the boys did get repercussions. So Billy was sentenced to life for second-degree murder, and he's not eligible for parole for 40 years.
That is
With
the
a 12
worst plea bargain ever. Where the fuck was his lawyer?
with a 12-year minimum sentence deferred if good behavior. So in 2007, he saw a sentence reduction after serving 16 years. It was denied. Although his eligibility date for parole has been reduced. So 2015, he was granted a lifetime parole and released. So I had to look up what this meant because I wasn't sure what a lifetime parole meant. It just means that you literally are being watched for your entire rest of your life. You have to adhere to the rules. You have to check in when you have to check in. So realistically, you have freedom, but you have standards. Like you have to check in with your parole officer. You have to do all of these things, and you can't fuck up, or else you go back.
Okay.
So he's been let. He's been let out. Patrick Randall was also sentenced to life. Now this is the guy who actually
Had the gun.
pulled the trigger. The other guy had the gun. I guess I don't know why, but
okay.
everyone was kind of tossing. They're 15-year-old boys, so I can see them being like, "Oh, what do we do?" And then like one of them having it, the other one not. Like
It's
I could
almost like
see that.
Larry and Curly. If we all do
exactly.
something, they can't pin it on one of us. So it's like
One,
Yeah,
exactly.
they don't think about, well, no, they'll just pin it on all of us and we'll all get in fucking trouble. It's like, well, if you do this and I do this and this one does this, they won't figure it out. Well, no, they're going to figure it the fuck out. Like, you're not that smart.
I agree. It actually really surprised me with this case because of how strict the boys' sentences were, because Billy and Patrick were the ones who went in. Like Patrick was the one, either Billy shot him or whatever, but they went into the house, they forced him to his knees, and they shot him in the back of the head.
Oh,
so like this is just, it's very like
Call of Duty.
execution
Yeah.
style. So Patrick was granted, or again, he was eligible for parole after 40 years. He was also granted lifetime parole in, I believe, last year. So he also, or 2015, something like that.
Okay.
So he around the same time, I mistyped it, sorry.
You're fine.
But Billy and Patrick are both out. They were granted, but now they have a lifetime parole.
Okay.
Okay, so Vance was the one with the gun and was with them at the scene. He received life as an accomplice, which again I thought was very harsh considering that he wasn't one of the ones to go in, but he was eligible for parole in 30 years. He was released on a lifetime parole as well in 2005. And the last kid, Raymond Fowler, was sentenced to 30 years for conspiracy to commit murder and attempted burglary. He was paroled in 2003, but he was sent back in 2004 for violating his parole terms.
Idiot.
He was released later on, but like he just like, bro, you have a lifetime parole. Like this is your thing now.
Yeah.
So to go back to the Lifetime movie that you mentioned, there is a novel that's called To Die For by Joyce Maynard, which is inspired by the case, and a movie called To Die For that stars Nicole Kidman.
I love her. She is
So,
just amazing.
and then, yeah, so I haven't seen the movie, but I kind of am curious now because I want to,
Sounds
and then
like
of course
sangria
there's
day to me.
yeah, there's a crime drama film that was made in 1991 called Murder in New Hampshire, the Pamela Smart story. So I felt that she was one of the first educators to deserve the award of the worst educator.
I would agree with you. But we don't like her.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
First
I don't
place,
like it.
bitch.
Good.
Wow. So I learned a lot.
I learned I really want to like the St. Augustine Lighthouse. I kept getting stuck on the fact that it like moved and then it went back and it was fine and there was no damage.
Right? Like,
So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
I didn't know buildings could do that.
I think all buildings, like, especially in like California, like they have it set up so like if they like
Yeah.
shake, like,
They shake and then they're like they go back.
yeah, and they're like, okay, we're cool.
I mean, it's Florida, so it makes sense,
Yeah.
but that's kind of neat.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I also like, I love you so much, and you do such a good job at reporting on these things and like researching and doing all this
It's
stuff.
a terrible story. I'm not telling you it was a good story.
But it really just reminds me how horrendous humans can be. Like,
Right?
That's really what I learn every week is how fucking terrible humans can be to each other. So
And it just keeps getting better. Like I keep giving you the really great humans.
you
So
just find the dregs of society.
just
And
find
on
it.
that note,
Yeah.
now that you're caught up, if you would like to hear more about the horrible people that Jen finds to talk about, we have a whole bunch of them over on Patreon. You can listen
do.
for hours more. Hours more.
Mhm.
So if you want to go there, deathbeforebooze.com, click on Patreon. You can also find our merch over there. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to it, Spotify, Apple, wherever. We also have merch. I don't remember if I said that already. I think I did. Make sure you tell your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the little bell so you always know when we upload new YouTube stuff. Other than
Yep.
that, I'm sure I'm missing something, but hang out with us. We're here every Tuesday, and
Yeah.
we love you. Thank you so
This
much
is
for
fun.
listening.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank
So much
you.
fun.
Stay spooky and we love you. Bye.